Dear students, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Arafat mujeeb from FEI Higher Secondary Now, I am again with chapter number 17, and chapter is some natural phenomena, and it is science 8th class. In this chapter I will discuss about the following topics, and it would be the last lecture of this chapter, including the unit 3rd examination. And the topic today is about the earthquake. Earthquake क्या होता है? What do you mean by earthquake? How we can define the earthquake? I will tell you that it is a natural disaster, disaster ये एक नेचुरल डिजास्टर है जिसमें क्या होता है, अर्थ इज shaking of earth. In this, the earth is shaking. The earth is shaking. That is trembling, shaking. When it is shaking, then it is a destructive. Then it is a destructive to life as well as and property. क्या होता है, जो earth, sometimes the earth is shaking, it is trembling, earth surface is trembling, it is shaking, that which is a natural disaster, destructive to life and property, and is a health and is a problematic the earth, which is a sudden moment, sudden shaking takes place on the surface of the earth. What is the cause of the earthquake? इसका क्या cause रहता है? Cause of earthquake. Cause of earthquake. इसका क्या cause रहता है? Cause हमने ये देखा, इसमें जो earthquake है, earthquake ये originate होता है, originate deep inside the crust of earth. earthquake ये जो है, इसका आगाज होता है deep inside crust part of the earth. That means earthquake originates here. What is the cause? You can say, if we have a look about the earth is not a continuous structure. इसमें देखा गया है in the interior of the earth, interior of the earth, there is palatus. जो वहां पे हमने देखा, जो earth हमारा है, if I will show it here a diagram, if it is a model of the earth, this earth is not continuous in the interior, it is not continuity in structure. We can say there is some palatus interior of the earth. There is palate number 1, 2, 3, 4. There are palatus, and due to the moment in palatus, this is the palate, there are palate second, 4, 1, 2, and there between the palatus there are the boundaries. There are boundaries between the palatus. There are the boundaries. That means in the interior of the earth there is a palatus, and those palatus shows the moment. There is a moment in there is a moment between the palatus, which actually cause the which actually cause the waves inside the earth and reaches to the surface of the earth. क्या होता है, हमने देखा जो अर्थ का इंटीरियर है वहां प्लेट्स होते हैं. दे आर constituent of different arrangement of plates, and in those plates there are the moments, there are the frictional moments, there are the sliding moments, there are the up and down moments, there is brushing moments, there is collision type of moments between those plates, and they generate waves inside the earth and reaches those waves to the surface of the earth. Those are known as the surface waves. As the cause is the movement that take place among the plates in the interior of the earth, that shakens, that trembling the earth in all. It is the cause. And second cause is sometimes deep inside the earth, there is high temperature. Due to the high temperature, जो मैग्मा होता है, वो उसमें ज्यादा हम देखते हैं उसमें ज्यादा सर्कुलर मूवमेंट आती है, ज्यादा सर्कुलर मूवमेंट, मोबिलिटी इंक्रीज होती है, जिसके वजह से जो प्लेट्स होते हैं हम कहते हैं टेक्टोनिक जो प्लेट्स होते हैं, these tectonic plates floats on the magma like fluid. It is a fluid which is found deep inside the earth's crust when there is high temperature and pressure. There is the vigorous movement in the magma, and sometimes there is a disturbance in the tectonic plates. They start floating on the magma, and due to this is the magma. This is also a second cause. I can cite it here. What can be the cause of the earthquake? Here there is tectonic plates instability. There is instability if there is a huge accumulation of magma. It is what is a magma? It is a hot molten fluid which is found between the rocks. Sometimes there is also a volcanic eruption. आपने सुना होगा कि जो किसी वक्त volcanic eruption is a intrusive में इसलिए फट जाता है interior of the earth. Sometimes there is a volcanic eruption. Second, sometimes there is a volcanic eruption extrusive. That means ये उस वक्त फट जाता है, इसकी जो होती है इरप्शन होती है वो अर्थ सरफेस के बाहर होती है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वेंट से वो गैसेस एस मोल्टन निकल आता है बाहर. Sometimes it erupt interior of the earth. It is known the intrusive. That means volcanic eruption also play a role in causing the earthquake. Then here is we can talk about now. Then here in the earthquake, where earthquake is origin, where its origin takes place, origin of earthquake, how it is originates. If we talk about, this is the earth, and in the earth there is some point where there is a formation of shock waves. There is the formation of waves. This point is known as this point. I will name this point here. I will name this point here. It is here it is known as the focus. It is also known as the hypocenter. Hypocenter is a point. It is a place in the deep inside of the earth where these where the waves originators, earthquake waves originators, it produces and have a much more strength at the center, and this is known as hypocenter focus. And when these waves reaches to the surface, when it reaches to the surface of the earth, surface of the earth, and there is a point here. This point is known as here at some point, it just at some point on the surface, this is known as the epicenter. Where there is the effect of these seismic waves. हम इसको कहते हैं seismic waves. We have the generation of seismic wave जो होते हैं, मतलब इनकी origin जो होती है, origin that takes place in the focus is the center, interior of the earth, this, and above the point is the epicenter, where there is the effect of these waves, seismic waves, and it is the first one, focus, origin, then it is there is the epicenter, where epicenter is where these seismic waves we can say strikes and shows it as effect. Here epicenter, here is also the epicenter is a place where also the huge destruction can cause. It depends upon the magnitude, strength, intensity of these seismic waves. That means we have first have a point, focus, where the seismic waves is produced, and then where they strike us, where they are distributed to a center, where they cause a strike, they cause effect, destruction, is known as the epicenter. Here we can say the seismic wave जो होते हैं, seismic waves, some are the P waves. These are the seismic waves here, P waves, and other are the P waves, other are the S waves. We have two types of waves. First one is P waves, S waves. P waves is also known as the primary waves, primary seismic waves, and this S waves को हो या secondary को हो, secondary seismic waves. The intensity of the seismic waves provide the magnitude of the earthquake. The intensity of the seismic waves, intensity of seismic waves can be determined, it can be predicted, by intensity of the seismic waves tell us the magnitude of earthquake. The magnitude of earthquake, at what rate the seismic waves reaches, at what wave the seismic waves reaches to the earth's surfaces, at what intensity, it gives us the calculation of about the magnitude of earthquake. If you have a 4.4 of value, it is the less effect, it is the less less in strike, and it is not. If it is a 5.4, it is the moderate in strike. If there is 7.5 or even to the 8, which 8.0, this is the strong in strike. We can calculate the magnitude of earthquake that depends upon the intensity of seismic waves. We can determine it by a scale which is known the Richter scale. Richter scale जो है, Richter scale gives us the following values, and we make an index. Already index, there is the index of the prediction of the earthquake, the intensity of these shock waves, these seismic waves can help in calculating the magnitude of the earth. There is a Richter scale से ही हम पता लगा सकते हैं magnitude of earthquake. If it is of this range, it would be very dangerous, destructive, property loss, human loss much more. And when this is the moderate, often the Kashmir is very prone to this range of the magnitude of the earthquake that is strong in strike, and there is havoc, destruction, problematic, and loss of lives. It is one of the worst disaster. And if we have an instrument in calculation of instrument in the prediction of the earthquake, how much its strong is. It is moderate, it is strong in strike. That there is an instrument known as the seismograph. Seismograph is an instrument help us in the prediction of earthquake, that it helps us it determines, it predicts the जो waves अभी मैंने कहा जो प्राइमरी waves है, वो ये उससे हम एक ग्राफ हमें मिलता है, एक ग्राफिकल स्कीमेटिक मिलता है हमें. तो there is a graph devisement here, जिसको हम एक शीट पे बनाते हैं. इसमें एक नीडल होती है जिसमें हम ये ऑब्टेन होती है. Seismograph जो होता है, it gives the graph of the primary waves, secondary waves, and both the primary waves and secondary seismic waves are known as the they take place in the interior of the earth, interior of the earth during earthquake दौरान ये waves that take place interior of the earth, primary, या हम इनको कहते हैं P seismic wave, S seismic waves, they take place interior of the earth. They are also collectively known, दोनों को कहा जाता है, दोनों waves को यहाँ कहा जाता है body waves. क्यों कहा जाता है body waves? They are both together known as the body waves, because these take place in the interior of the earth, and there then when these primary or secondary waves strike to the earth's surface, then there is a surface waves. There is the surface waves. The surface waves reaches to earth's surface. Earth's surface. They reach to the earth's surface, where they also, the surface waves can be predicted, determined by the seismograph. That means seismograph gives a graph formation of the primary waves, secondary waves, surface waves, and the surface waves. Then when they travel at a high intensity, when they strike to the earth's surface, to the rocks of the earth's surface, to the buildings of the earth's surface, to the water bodies of the earth's surface, then these are known as the surface waves, surface seismic waves. When they have magnitude of 7, 9, 8, 9 range में, then they are the destructive to life and their property, and they are also determined by the seismograph. It is an instrument for the determination of the earthquake. Now it is the all about this. Now how we can protect ourselves. If we talk about the India that are worst by the strike of earthquake. I talk about my first Kashmir. It is very worst by the strike of earthquake. That is, first one is Kashmir, then second I talk about the central Himalayas, then is the third is the northeast India, then I talk about then here the Gujarat, then I talk about the 550 the Deccan Plateau. It is the southern part of India. Sixth one is the Run of Kutch. These are the places. Also I talk about the seventh one. Here is the western Himalayas, also very central and western Himalayas also worst by the strike of the earthquakes. Its range has been calculated here 7 to 8 range में earth का magnitude रहता है, which is very havoc destructive to life and property, as we talk about the India like country. Now I will move further than here. I will show you that how we can protect ourselves by this strike. Protection against earthquake. We should always prepare before earthquake broke out, before this natural disaster, and it is, we have not yet technically very strong in order to predict the earthquake in advance. We are deficient in the digital technologies, in the sensitive instrument development. Here there are the few predictions. These days electronic devices, digital devices, digital technologies, our ITs these days are working hard. Remote sensing instrument are in work in the prediction in advance earthquake before there is a huge strike, there is a huge disaster by the earthquake. There are some prediction measures here, but before the earthquake predict out, we get a very less time to evacuate those people, to evacuate those places, to protect, to evacuate the animals, the people is there. It is very tough, it is very toxic, and it is very hectic to the NGOs, to the government, semi-government bodies and the local bodies, to the other volunteer people, and it is very hectic. Therefore we should be aware, and how we protect ourselves, our life before the happening of the earthquake. Therefore here is the our house should be, our buildings, जो हम buildings construct करते हैं, buildings should be designed on an architect आर्किटेक्ट बेसिस, जो आर्किटेक्ट बेसिस जो होता है उस पे बनाना चाहिए, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, हाँ, जो इंडिया में जो अर्थक्वेक प्रोन एरियाज है, अर्थक्वेक प्रोन एरिया जो होते हैं, प्रोन एरियाज, हमारे पास should build house with low costs and simple in structure, क्योंकि हमें बार बार नुकसान उठाना पड़ता है, simple in structure. And also you can say that the roofs of the buildings जो होते हैं, roofs of buildings should be light, हल्का होना चाहिए, हल्का फुल्का, light in design। जो मकान का छत होता है, मैं हिंदुस्तान के उन एरियाज की बात हम कर रहा हूँ जहाँ पर ऑफनली और repeatedly earthquake strike, no need to design a heavy buildings and heavy costly buildings and which costs high values. You should go for to design the less simpler in structures, and there should be your home should have rooftops, light materials, mud, grass, light materials which can at least protect you by the wind, rain, by the heat. Therefore we should have adjust ourselves to those areas if we would like to survival, to have a possible survival there. And then it should be here, our building material should be strong and should withstand. And here is then how we protect ourselves during the earthquake. We should be present in open field, जब भी कभी कभार कोई पोल्स, इलेक्ट्रिकल पोल्स होते हैं, टॉल बिल्डिंग्स होती है, मतलब स्ट्रॉन्ग टॉल ट्रीज होते हैं, उनके नीचे नहीं रहना है। यू शुड नॉट टेक द शेल्टर अंडर द ट्रीज, अंडर द बिल्डिंग्स, नियर द इलेक्ट्रिक पोल्स, near the huge tanks, water tanks. You should, Airtel towers, whatever the towers, mobile towers there are there, you should not shelter at the time of earthquake in those areas. You should be possibly in an open field when there is no chance of falling anything. Number second is never should take shelter below the electric poles, trees, tall buildings. So you should be ensure that you are away from these electric poles, trees, tall buildings. And here is another precautionary measures you should be aware that 7, 8, I think there, when you are in the 7th, I think inside the houses, if you are now inside the house, inside your home, we should take shelter below, under the bed, chair, table. हमें चाहे अगर हम मकान के अंदर हो during the strike of the earthquake, यकीनन तौर हमें अपना जो छुपाना है, अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करना है अंडर द बेड। जब भी अगर छत गिरने का अंदेशा हो, दीवार गिरने का अंदेशा हो, कोई हेवी कबर्ड, कोई हेवी हैंगिंग वॉल, हैंगिंग पिक्चर, वॉल पिक्चर गिरने की मतलब पॉसिबिलिटी हो, अर्थक्वेक से, या सीलिंग फॉल हो, तो यू शुड एट दैट टाइम टेक शेल्टर अंडर द बेड, चेयर, टेबल। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वो मटीरियल, बिल्डिंग मटीरियल, इन चीज़ों पे पढ़ सकते हो और आप अपने आप को बचा सकते हैं। एंड एट्थ वन is that you should we should, हम कहेंगे, it is also to me, we should protect our head, क्योंकि हमारा जो हेड होता है, क्रेनियम पार्ट होता है, हेड पार्ट होता है, इट इज़ वेरी डेलिकेट, it protect our head, sickle, it protects our brain. Our head is the main part of our body. You should first of all protect your head by striking by any heavy thing, that we should protect our head by pillow तकिया वगैरह से आप इसको ऊपर रख सकते हो when there is possibility of falling any heavy material by the strike of the earthquake. There are the various few measures here how we can protect against the earthquake, and prediction of earthquake is minimum. Chances of prediction of earthquake is very little, minimum, and there is very little hope to first of all in advance to predict earthquakes. Now these days science and technology is in a research, in a search, is in an invention. Inshallah, we are improving in science and technology. Satellites, launching satellites are working very hard, and we should improve our remote sensing techniques in order to have a proper prediction of earthquake, and we should have sensitive devices to sensitively predict the earthquake before advances. Here we have some biological factors. Here some animals, here the shock wave generated by the epicenter, those waves by before are heard by the animals, by the birds, and they move away from those areas. If we talk about the sea whales, if we mammals, if we talk about the other birds, they move away from those places, and it is the indication of that there is something happen, bad thing is happening there. There is chance to happen anything, but we should always be vigilant in any disaster, any disaster take place. Dear students, it is all about the earthquake, what is the cause of earthquake, and how its origin takes place, how we protect ourselves by the earthquake. Now here is the, we should always, when we are in the open field, we are walking on the ground during the earthquake, we should try to sit down during the earthquake, and we should be killing to the earth surface, and it is very good to you to any damage. Then here is I will tell you about, it is mentioned in your book. There is a central building. There is a central building research institute in Roorkee, in central institute building in the Roorkee में वहाँ पे ये here is the Roorkee in India. Here is the this place, Central Building Research Institute, जिसको हम एक scientific engineering point of view, construction of buildings. There is construction of buildings, there is counseling, there is technical, there is methods how we can make proof way buildings to stand by any strike by any stroke of the earthquake. Dear student, I hope you understand about the following topics: earthquake, cause, origin, and what are the protection against the strike of the earthquake. Thank you.